Hello everyone, it's Dr. Manjiri Nadkarni, Ayurvedic MD, registered holistic nutritionist, back today for day 90 of 100 days of Ayurveda. So it has been 90 days already. We are 10 days short of completing our 100 days of Ayurveda. Super excited to share this experience. Super excited to share Ayurvedic knowledge. Sorry, there was some bug in my StreamYard, so I could not log in. It's not connecting my camera, it's not connecting my microphone. So I had to try and log in from my phone. So that's why, it looks slightly different. Hi, Darshana. Hello, Tamji. Thank you for watching this. Thanks for being here. Today, we are going to talk about skin conditions. We are going to discuss a little bit more about the causes of skin inflammation according to Ayurveda. I have my notes right at the back, so I'm going to refer to my notes. There's lots today. So it is pretty interesting. Hello, Ushaji, nice to see you. So let's talk about skin conditions from an Ayurvedic perspective, and we're also going to see what factors cause these skin conditions, right? So when we talk about skin, there are several Ayurvedic tissues involved. We talk about rasa, or some people understand it as plasma or lymph, but rasa is the first tissue that is transformed after digestion. That's how we can understand it. And the health of your skin is often reflected by how healthy your body tissues are. And skin is extremely important because it's the largest organ that you have. Skin is also a detox organ, right? Skin also reflects your health status. So skin, having a good skin, having a healthy glowing skin is extremely important because it shows how healthy you are as well. So when people talk about skin for just cosmetic value or just looking beautiful, that's not like, that's one of the things, but it's not the only thing. But your skin is a huge reflector of your health status, right? And certain conditions like even vata aggravation could show up as dry skin. If you're getting a lot of red rashes, red patches, that could indicate pitta aggravation. If you have lots of stickiness or oiliness, that could also show excess of kapha, right? And getting a blotchy skin can also indicate like ama, or not digesting your food properly, right? Getting a lot of breakouts, acne could also indicate that. So that's why understanding your skin is extremely important. Understanding the um, Ayurvedic perspective of skin is extremely important, right? So when we talk about Ayurvedic medicine in the ancient, scriptures, they've talked about kushta as a one thing that covers all kinds of skin conditions. So there are several kinds of kushtas. Kushta doesn't always mean leprosy. In India, it's commonly known as leprosy, but it's not only leprosy. But these are a variety of skin conditions that are caused by an unhealthy diet, right? And that's what we're going to discuss today. So there could be, when we talk about skin conditions, there could be acne, eczema, psoriasis, vitiligo, or leukoderma is another skin condition. So there are multiple skin conditions. You could have um, um, there's lots. I can just go, I don't want to go into details of all of it, but when we talk about the tissues, the main ones are your rasa, your rakta, also lymph, and your mouse as well, right? So these are kind of the tissues involved. And any of the doshas, vata, pitta, kapha, so any of the doshas can get out of balance and create a lot of pathology in your skin. And when we talk about the causative factors of skin imbalances or skin conditions, the first one that is described in the text is viruddha anna, or bad food combinations, or poor dietary combination. So if you haven't seen my interview with Dr. Gowri that we hosted on Saturday, please go back to that video and you will get an idea of Ayurvedic food combining and why it is important to combine food certain ways. So one thing that we absolutely avoid is fish and milk. The combination of fish with any kind of dairy is supposed to be one of the reasons for creating skin inflammation, and that's something I grew up listening to. So coming from a household where fish was the staple, we would never have any dairy products when you had fish. And if you had fish as a meal, you would not even eat ice cream after that, right? So not at the same meal. And when I was a child, my mom would always explain that, oh, don't eat, milk with fish, it's going to create a lot of white spots around your neck and all that. And this is one poor dietary combination, which is known as Viruddha Ahar. And that is a causative factor for a lot of skin issues. And food allergies can also be caused by constantly eating poor dietary combinations, right? Because when you are having these poor dietary combinations or Viruddha Anna, so that could be having a lot of salt with dairy products is one bad combination. Having fish with dairy products is one bad combination. Having a lot of fruit and yogurt or lassi is again a bad dietary combination. Even fruits like bananas with milk is a bad dietary combination, right? So there are lots of dietary combinations that you should be avoiding in terms of Ayurveda. And the biggest thing that poor dietary combinations can do is, they can create a lot of ama or digestive toxins which don't get absorbed or digested or eliminated. And these could take a hold of your skin, creating a lot of skin inflammation. So the number one factor is what we call Viruddha Anna or poor dietary combinations, right? So try to avoid those as much as you can. And then any excessive liquid food. So when we talk about having water as well, right? So if some people drink 4 or 5 liters of water every day, which is a lot, right? So everybody requires different amounts of water. But if you have too much water, which is also known as drav ahar, excess liquids, if you're consuming, it can also dilute your digestive enzymes, right? Which is going to cause weakened digestion. And this weakened digestion is going to create ama or metabolic toxins. And these metabolic toxins are going to circulate in your system and take hold of your skin, causing skin inflammation. Hi, Mugda, nice to see you. Hi, Lalita, nice to see you. There's a Facebook user who's saying hi. I'm just saying hi because I can't see who you are. Unfortunately, StreamYard is not letting me see anybody's name who's in my Facebook group, so I can't see your name. I'm so sorry, but thank you for watching this. Thank you, everyone. The other thing that we talk about is snigdha ahar. So we've talked about poor dietary combinations. We've talked about excess liquids, and you can have small sips of water, right? But don't drink 2 glasses of water before you eat, just because you want to fill your stomach and you want to not eat as much food, right? So try to avoid that. Excess fatty foods, right? Excessively oily or fried foods or can also be heavier to digest. So fat is heavier to digest. And I see a lot of people trying keto diet, right? Keto diet can be tried if your digestion is optimal. If your digestion is poor, you are not going to digest too much fat. If your bile is not secreted well, or if your gallbladder is not functioning well, if your bile is sluggish, you're not going to break this fat down. And if you're having excess fat, in your diet, and you're not breaking it down, it is going to create toxicity in your system. So that is something to remember. So excess of this fat can also create issues with your metabolism. It can also create issues with digestion and lead to any skin issues as well. Similarly, excessively heavier foods, right? And it is important to understand that when I talk about these symptoms, these are always present along with a poor digestive fire. If you have an immensely strong digestion, you will be able to handle most foods, including poor combinations of diet. Over a period of time they might catch up with you. But if you have a really strong digestive fire, if you are an athlete who's exercising a lot, right, or who is doing some kind of a performance training, then your digestive fire is extremely strong and you will be able to get away with poor dietary choices. I don't recommend that you get away with those or you do those often, but because of the exercise and because of the raised metabolism, your body can handle it better than others, right? So heavier foods, again, if your digestive fire is weak, and if you start eating heavy protein diets, which are very common, an example is paleo diet, right? So paleo diet, having huge portions of meat, will work for you if your digestion is okay. If you have a poor sluggish digestion, this is going to create more inflammation, going to create a lot of issues with your skin, right? And that's how you might get skin inflammation. When we talk about milk, right, we talk about milk. Milk by nature is a liquid, right? Milk by nature is also a little bit, it has good fat content. It can be understood as snigdha, right? It can also be understood as something that's a little heavier to digest. So a lot of skin conditions that I see in my practice are also related to excessive consumption of milk along with a poor digestive fire. So when your digestion suffers, you cannot digest the protein parts of milk. This could be whey or casein. Casein is more importantly um, connected with any kind of skin conditions that I see in my practice. So always, if you have not had food sensitivity testing done, please get tested, especially if you have any existing skin conditions, right? So any reactions to milk or dairy can create excessive phlegm. They can also create a lot of skin conditions in you. Also, certain gluten sensitivities can show up on skin, right? That are also very common. So, and if you look at wheat, wheat is again heavier to digest, right? And milk is again, considered to be liquid as well as something that has good fat content, right? So, again, this is not true for each and every person, but for most people, I'm talking about the general factors that can create skin inflammation, right? If you are fasting too much and then suddenly you have a lot of food, that can also create issues with your skin. Any indigestion, so if you are eating food that you're not digesting at all, even if it's regular food, it doesn't have to be something that's very heavy, or it doesn't have to be something that's greasy. But if you have a sluggish digestion, and no matter what you're eating, if you're not able to digest, it does reflect on your skin, right? So for me personally, this is extremely important because my body type is kapha. My digestive fire is not super strong, so I always have to work with it. I always have to make sure I'm not overeating, which is again my tendency. And the moment I start eating poorly, it does reflect on my skin, and that is why I have to keep eating healthy foods, right? Another factor that is talked about when it comes to issues with skin or skin inflammation is known as adhyasana. So, what that means is you're eating before you have digested the food, previously eaten food. And if you see today's, lifestyle, certain diets propagate eating every 2 hours, right? But the average time to digest a meal is 3 hours. And if you have a sluggish digestive fire, you're actually going to take a lot more time to digest the food. So if you keep eating before you have digested the food in your tummy, you're going to create this ama or toxic substance or digestive toxins which keep circulating, and those are going to impact your skin for sure, right? And then there are certain substances when you take in excess, they are also going to cause skin issues. An example is like newly harvested rice, right? Or excessively, items that are prepared from rice, or lots of curd as well. Curd and fish is another combination which is really bad. Salty foods or excessively sour foods as well. um, Radish can also create skin inflammation. Radish can also create all three doshas to get out of balance. Rice flours or excessively refined foods can also create, excessive inflammation. Also, sesame seeds, if you use too much of sesame seeds, that can also create inflammation in your skin. Externally, sesame oil is fantastic, but sesame seeds are also heavier to digest. Milk products, and cottage cheese, different products made out of milk can create skin issues if taken excessively, and so are any sugary foods or things made with jaggery, right? So these are some factors that can create skin conditions. Now, when we talk about lifestyle factors, right? So, lifestyle factors, there are certain factors where if you are controlling the urge of like vomiting, if you feel like throwing up because you're extremely nauseous and you just try to control it, that is one sign that, when your body wants to throw things up, because you're getting an acid reflux or something that needs to be purged out and you're trying to withhold that, that is going to create skin conditions as well. Excessive exercise, right? immediately after eating. So if you eat a heavier meal and if you start running or doing vigorous activities, what happens is the food which is getting digested should get some circulation in your body. But the moment you start exercising vigorously, all your circulation is drawn to the extremities, and you're not going to digest this food well, which is going to create toxins, and this can also create different skin conditions, right? Taking a warm bath or warm water after excessively exposure to heat or exertion or fear can also create this damaging effect on skin. And excessive sleep, if you're sleeping like 14 hours a day, that is going to create a lot of kapha aggravation, and that can also lead to issues with your skin, right? So these are a few causative factors that we talk about. A few other causative factors where you can create skin conditions is if you're going out in the sun and if you are exposed to harsh rays of the sun. Now remember that morning sun is extremely good for skin conditions. And even when we look at astrology, skin conditions are connected with a weak sun as a planet, right? So the early morning sun rays, the orange rays of the sun that are there in the environment when the sun rises are extremely beneficial to you. But if you are out and about in the afternoon heat or exposing too much um, um, to the sun, right, you have a chances to get burned, or there could also be premature aging or different skin cancers as well, right? So that is something you have to be extremely mindful about. You also have to be extremely mindful about the products that you use on your skin, right? So if you are using lots of chemicals, or if you're using lots of face washes or powders or compacts and any kind of skin creams that you don't let your skin breathe, right, that is also going to cause skin conditions, because your skin is also the largest organ and that's also going to absorb, right? And the same with your diet. Any toxins or any excess of pesticides or anything that doesn't belong in your diet, preservatives and all that, if you consume excess of those, and if your channels of detoxification in the body are overloaded, you could always get breakouts through your skin because your skin tries to expel those. So that could also be one of the causes. So there are so many different causes of skin condition. And I was just talking about the general causes when we talk about Ayurveda or what are mentioned in the Ayurvedic texts, but any causes that could lead to any ama buildup or digestive toxin buildup in your body can create skin conditions. Any conditions which could aggravate your doshas, your vata, your pitta, or kapha dosha, right? If they get out of balance, they can also combine with this ama, circulate throughout your body, and create different conditions like acne, right? So usually when we talk about acne, it could be a dominance of pitta as well as kapha, right? That's why your pores are getting clogged, and you're getting those painful red pimples. That could be one of the causes. And detoxification is extremely important when it comes to skin conditions, because most times you're getting skin flare ups, you're getting skin breakouts because your organs of detoxification are already taxed, or you're not detoxifying well. So these are some things that are important to pay attention to. So I'm just kind of quickly going to scroll over my notes. Um, in the session on Thursday, I'll be talking in detail about general remedies for skin conditions. I'm going to talk about my favorite herbs. One of my absolute favorite herb when it comes to skin conditions is neem. And neem is antibacterial, neem is antifungal, neem is like anti everything, right? So it works fantastically on skin. That brings me to other conditions. There could also be skin conditions related to any kind of parasites. If you have yeast buildup, sometimes those yeast patches can show over your skin. Certain kinds of ringworms and all can also be found with different infections. So you could have bacterial infections, you could have skin infections. So those are another category of skin disorders, right? But again, for any infection to take hold of your body, your immunity has to be lowered, right? If your immune system is extremely strong and functioning really well, your body is going to fight any of those infections. So if you are getting recurrent skin infections, if you are getting any issues pertaining to your skin, always, look at your digestion, look at your detoxification, especially when we talk about lymphatic drainage or your lymphatic system, right, which only moves when you're exercising. So that's important to look at. And you also have to look at your immune system. So if your immune system is not functioning, that's why your body cannot fight off these sensitivities or is getting more and more sensitive in terms of food, and then it's creating all these conditions on your skin. Uttamji, neem, we don't have powder, but we do have capsules of neem at Blue Water Nutrition. So definitely, you can visit us, and we do have neem capsules at Blue Water Nutrition. So you can definitely get it from there. So that's all for today, and I'll be back tomorrow. And I will also be back on Thursday. So, Thursday, we're going to discuss about the basic remedies for skin conditions. So, what are some ways we can get a healthy, blemish-free skin? We can also talk about certain dietary things to implement to get this nice glow on your skin and make sure your body is detoxing well, and also certain lifestyle remedies that are going to help you get a really good skin, right? The first thing, again, as I mentioned, if you have any sensitivities, please check with milk or even wheat, and especially people, you know, with Caucasian origin, or for people who have been drinking lots of milk since they were kids. This is kind of the profile of clients that I get when we talk about skin conditions, right? So please, make sure you're not eating anything, your diet does not include foods that are creating inflammation in your skin. So these are a few things I wanted to talk today. Tomorrow I will be back on Facebook, at the Blue Water Nutrition Facebook page, and tomorrow I'm going to talk about children and food sensitivities at 1 o'clock, and then I'll continue with the skin series on Thursday. Yeah. And then we have another amazing guest. So for this Saturday, we have Dr. Jaya Daptardar, and the topic is seniors' health, or aging gracefully is the topic for this Saturday. So it is going to be a really interesting topic, and I'll post all the details by tonight. Thank you all once again for watching. Have a fantastic night, and I will see you tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Till then, have a good night. Bye.